Good evening, everybody. Welcome to BL Week in Review. I am your host, BL Songbird. And before we get into it, just a reminder, if you haven't already, go ahead and like this live and, subscribe to the BL Express YouTube channel. Also, if you enjoy my content, you can find me all over the place on social media, and my YouTube channel is linked in the comments. From there, on my bio, there's a link tree to everything else. Go find me other places. Hopefully, I will connect with you there. Okay. Oh, how is everyone doing? Can you hear me okay? Is the night going okay? Everyone, it's already dark here. It feels very different. Daylight savings time changed everything. And also being off on a random Tuesday has also changed everything. I was just editing. So, okay, backstory. For my Patreon account, I do something called BL Hidden Gems, where I analyze and review a hidden gem BL series, or at least one that I think is a hidden gem, mainly because maybe it didn't get a lot of attention on social media. So, in general, I have been doing commentary on series over there, and I doing the Under the Oak Tree, and I was editing the video for that before this. So, it's been an interesting day today, very different than usual. And so, yeah, here we are this evening. And if I'm a little scattered, that is because I am out of routine, and that sometimes happens when I'm out of routine. But let's get into it today. We are going to be talking about the IGE lineup, which was announced on Friday. We are also going to be, as usual, in news report fashion, going through series that are upcoming, series that just started last week, and series that have finished. And then our spoilers section today is going to be all about Interminable Thailand, which started on Friday. And the reason I'm making it the focus of the spoiler section is because it was actually a series that I was super excited about. So it's going to be fun to look at it again and talk about it more. Look at it again, meaning like thinking about it, I suppose, because it's not like I'm going to have it on the screen or something. At the end of the day, this feels a little bit like a talk show more than anything else. All right, so let's get into it, starting with the IGE lineup. There are 13 boys love series that were announced from Thailand. Um, a few of them we already knew about. Some of them we didn't know, but I'm going to go ahead and just kind of go through the list. Most of Mandy Works series are going to be on IGE. So Mandy is the one that did The Next Prince over the summer. They are the ones that did Kamjira, which just finished airing. And it seems like they kind of are almost exclusively with IG. I can't say entirely because they do have one series for WeTV next year. So, the list. Unknown Lover. Kamjira is getting a special episode. Super excited about that one. Love Upon a Time. Dwang with You. Mr. Fanboy. Hug Ely the musical. That is right. Zia Nunu have a musical. We already knew that, but they said, I think, in the lineup that it was going to be in like the Thai country style music genre, so that is actually going to make it really fun. I'm excited about that. Your Tuber, and then Your Third. All of those series have different ships from Mandy Work, and so it'll be fun to see them doing these different genres and different styles of show. So yeah, those are all the Mandy Work shows coming to IGE. It did say 2026 lineup. I can't imagine all of those series from Mandy happening in the same year, but you never know. I guess we'll find out. Okay, so on to IGE Originals. So one big announcement for IGE is they're now in artist management, which is interesting because Moss and Bank, who are well known for Big Dragon, are now under IGE. They've switched management companies together, and they have a new series called Identity Zero, which I don't know. It was like a concept video. There wasn't a whole lot to it, so I'm not entirely sure what that series is going to be about at all. But still, the fact that they are under new management is kind of exciting for those who love Moss and Bank. Another series that didn't even have a cast intro, but just used the it almost looked like a book cover, is a series titled Number One Student. No idea what that is about exactly, but that's the other IGE original that was announced. Okay, so Talai, they are the I honestly don't. Talai, Tailai, however you pronounce that. They're the group that did Top Form. They actually appeared on this an announcement lineup, which was interesting with a big project. I don't know if you could call it series. It might be multiple series because it's called 188 Group, which is 11 novels. So if we were to take that, and they're doing all 11 as separate series, that suddenly multiplies this and turns it into 24 series. No, 13. Yeah, 24 series. But I don't know if they're going to do them each separately or like kind of combine them together into smaller stories, like an anthology, which we occasionally see. I'm not sure what they're doing with that, but they did get rights to this novel set, which is kind of interesting. Copy A Bangkok announced a series called Peach Lover. Again, interesting. It had a very NC flair. Even the little preview they gave had an NC flair. And just as an aside, that's one thing I appreciated about IGE that I felt like was missing a little bit in WeTV. All of these had like a little 30-second trailer to go with them, which was pretty cool. Okay, Me Mind Why has a series titled Lust. I can only imagine. It's actually with a new pairing too. So Me Mind Why has a new pair, which is kind of fun. M Flow Entertainment announced not not KNOT, not like a knot you would tie, is going to be on IGE. And actually today I woke up to the pilot for Not. I would say that was an excellent 10-minute pilot. I was really impressed and kind of surprised actually. It was well formulated, well put together, gave significant backstory information and just a really well developed understanding of what the plot is going to be about. So, and the mood. Yeah, it's just really cool. So if you haven't seen it yet, Not the pilot from M-Flow Entertainment is on YouTube right now. Okay. So Look Entertainment, Looke, Look. They're the ones who did Gel Boys. That's the only series under their company. They announced Gel Boys 2, which will also be under IGE. Pretty cool, right? I really liked Gel Boys, and when they said they were going to be doing a second season, I got super excited. So yeah, 2026, it's coming, guys. And that is it. That is it for the lineup. Let's go see what people have to say about it. Okay, so Chas, you're excited about Kemjira. The image they shared was of Kem and Peem with their two boys. It was indeed. Which last week we were talking and speculating about that special episode, and you guys, I remember, were hoping for something to do with that. So here you go. Dreams come true, right? They are all Domundi projects announced for the 2025 lineup. Not all, like I said. Domundi is Mandy. They are the same, by the way. So when I said Mandy Works, Domundi, Mandy, as far as I'm aware, they're the same. or just different parts of the same company. I'm not positive which one does which, but on all of the little posters, Mandy Works was the company that was titled under them all. But yeah, almost all of the DMD projects are in the filming stage, except for Unknown Lover. That is very strong information, DeLorean. I appreciate that a lot because GMM TV girly here. I don't keep up on Mandy as much. I knew some of them were in the stages of filming. Like, for example, I knew for sure that, where is it? Did I even put it? Love Upon a Time. Love Upon a Time is even rumored to come out in December, but that's like the only one I really knew that was filming. So that's very cool. The Mossbank news is intriguing. Peach Lover has Poom in it, the Poom that was with Saint in My Sweetheart Jump. Ah, yes. That was what was exciting to people. I remember seeing that. And more Gel Boys, 100%. I am with you. Okay, so as we went, there's lots of stuff to be excited about next year. I am curious about Not Now, even more so after seeing the pilot. It seems like they've made a strong choice in storytelling. That company did. It looks really great. And then also Gel Boys, and honestly, I'm really curious about all the Mandy slash Domundi projects because they're going to be showcasing new ships. We're going to be getting diverse storylines, and they did a really great job with Kimjira. So if they continue in that vein, we might get some really, really great shows, which would be pretty cool. All right. So now onwards to our week in review. We're going to start with the shows that started this last week. I'm going to go ahead and let you know what I thought if I even watched it, and you guys can tell me what you thought of the shows that you watched, and putting it all together we'll get a nice clear view of what's worth continuing and what you can wait to binge, those kinds of things. So as usual, my question to all of you in the chat, and who are watching, my question is, did you like the show, the first episode? Do you think it's worth watching in real time or binging? Or maybe you're like, you know what? Don't bother with this one. All right, let's get into it. So, on Mondays, A Man Who Defies the World of BL is back. Like, we watched the 2024 series over the last month and a half, and now we are going to the final season. We are current. A Man Who Defies the World of BL, the final season, is or has aired this year. I don't know if it's currently airing, but it is one that aired this year. It is from Japan. It is still on Gaga Ulala. You can watch it all there. So if you're into that satire parody action, we are on to the final story, final project. And I saw some really funny comments on X about this one. Something about the original director being back. So if you have any more knowledge on that, that would be cool. But from what I understand, it sounded like he took the story from season 4, season 3, yeah, season 3, and flipped it on its head, and like said, nope, we're not going to do it that way, and like abruptly changed directions for the final season. At least that's like what I got on X. I haven't been watching, but that's kind of interesting, right? Okay, so that's on Mondays. Thursdays, Peach Trap, KBL, Gaga in select countries, Heavenly in South Korea, and it is actually on iQIYI as well for everybody else, including here in the United States. I was finishing the story of Bin Hyung last week, so I didn't bother starting Peach Trap. I was thinking about starting it this week though, so is it worth watching, guys? Let me know. All right. Until We Drown. That is from Korea. That is on the Secrets of Us YouTube channel. That is also airing on Thursdays. Again, didn't watch it. I know. I know I could be doing better about that, but here we are. I am getting a lot of writing done, so there's some positive things happening from me not watching quite so much on the show front. All right, and then on Fridays we've got Interminable Thailand. It's on iQIYI, and we're going to be discussing that in today's spoilers. Spoiler free section. This is one I did watch. It is going to be one if you want to watch a period BL that crosses multiple lifetimes. You're going to want to watch it in real time. I think there's a bit of a guessing game in it, and the discussion quality is high. So it'd be super fun to interact with others on social media about this one, guys. Yeah, that's what I think about Interminable. My spoiler-free little commentary on that one. Okay, series that are ended and ready to binge. We've got the story of Bi Hyung, Enchanted Master of Goblin. That one is 12 episodes long. It's from Korea. It's on iQIYI and Gaga Ulala. Uh, and it is supernatural. It's got a fun premise. The execution is all right. It is mid, in my opinion, probably a fairly easy binge. It actually might be more easy to digest binged. And just a fun little romp if you have time on a weekend to add in an extra show. All right. With that, let's go ahead and see what people have to say. I think I have a lot of commentary to go through real quick. Let's see here. Also curious about not A Man Who Defies season 4 continues the same style from the previous season. Okay. Peach Trap seems like a mild version of Secret Relationships. I have heard that also. Until We Drown is similar to the studio's previous series. Okay. I am curious, with at least 5 shows airing on Friday, which 2 you noted you are only watching 2 shows a day. Are you watching? Oh, okay, Chaz. The 2 shows I'm watching on Friday, I admit it, I watched 3 this last Friday, but I was out for the count with a like spasm in my back on Friday. So I had like all this free time. But you're right. There were 3. Um okay, what am I watching on Friday? Let me look that up for you guys cuz that is funny. Let me see. On Friday, I watched episode 1 of Interminable Thailand. I did watch Me and Who, and I watched That Summer on Friday. Um, since Saturday, the only show I'm watching is The Wicked Game. I just happened to move Goddess Bless You from Death to Saturday instead. Now, I watched all 3, and I have to choose 2, and I liked them all. I don't know what to do. Last summer is almost over, right? And then we'll be back down to 2 again? Question mark? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so there's my answer to your question, Chas. Um I don't think I can narrow it down now. However, like I could just watch 2 on Friday and put 3 shows on Saturday, and that might make more sense since Saturday is a weekend. It's a little bit easier to consume a little bit more on a weekend than on a weekday, you know? So waiting until oh, that summer ends, essentially. Yeah. Um, Punk's Triangle over here airs on Thursday evening, so that's lucky. And what's the 5th one you're watching? One, two, three, or is Punk's Triangle the 5th one? Ah, yeah. See, Chaz, I'm watching that Thursday evenings because it releases like midnight or 1 a.m. Japanese time, which is the previous evening over here. So that's how I'm getting away with that, I think. The story of Bi Hyung was a nice watch without anything special. Yeah, mid. It was a mid series. Nothing wrong with that. Those are still a fun ride, you know. Sometimes it's nice to have an easy to watch show that doesn't require as much thought and contemplation. Let's see. Let's see. What else have we got here? For Destiny Project is the next thing that ended. Not just Blood Fighters, but Blood Fighters. I was the last show in For Destiny Project, so that whole little series of 2 episode segments is done now. That one again is from Thailand. 8 episodes total, so 4 stories. It's on View Thailand, which is easily accessible via VPN, uncut, or you can watch it cut on YouTube everywhere. That is international. So yeah, that one is done, guys. There's one more, and it didn't save on here. Oh, there it is. The coming soon list. It did save. It did save, guys. All right. Finally, we have the coming soon. So, what is happening next week between this Tuesday and next Tuesday? We have Friday, November 15th. A lot is going on. Chas, you've talked about Fridays. This is so unfortunate because me and T, me and T starts on Friday. And it's one that I've been excited about since it was announced last year. That is from Thailand. It's going to be on iQIYI, and the premise is a mob boss and a photographer clash. That is a one sentence premise for that series. Um, yeah. Number 6, we have a problem. Okay. Mute Love Diva Deva Mata did indeed end. Yes, also, that one did end. That queer series aired yesterday on episode 4. It is free to watch. It is a riot. I don't even know how to describe that series. It is over the top comedy and actually pretty hilarious. I laughed pretty hard. It could be too over the top for some people though. Saturdays you're watching The Wicked Game and School Trip. School Trip I'm watching on Sundays, Chas. That's what happened with that. Kind of like what you're doing with Punk's Triangle. I do with the school series. I have been looking forward to Me and T. Yep, Valerie, and yes, the book was engaging. That's part of the reason I'm really excited about that show. I want to see how GMMTV actors Pond and Pooin bring it to life. I thought Me and T is Saturday. Why did I get the 15th? Is the 15th Saturday? Did I put the wrong? This would be oh yeah, the 15th is Saturday. I just wrote it wrong in my notes. Thank you so much, guys. Me and T, everything, all of this is on Saturday, which right now I'm only watching one series, so this might be good. It's a little bit better. All of these shows are on Saturday, so Saturday, November 15th. It's still November 15th. I had the date right. There's always one error in my notes. What is that, anyways? Anyway, you guys keep me honest. I appreciate that. So yeah, Me and T, Saturday, November 15th. Tide of Love from Korea. Seek Media YouTube channel behind a paywall or on Gaga Ulala is also on Saturday the 15th. And that could be described as forced proximity and a contractual relationship. At least that is how it was described on their announcement in YouTube. All right, and then we have, forgive my mispronunciation because it is in Chinese, Gu Jin Nan Qiu, perhaps. QIU. I know it's not the normal Q sound. I do know this much. It is Mandarin miniseries. It's going to be on YouTube and Bilibili. on Tuesdays and Saturdays. So Saturday is the premiere, and that is, I read that story seems so toxic. So if you love toxic, it is for you. It involves half brothers, and lots of drama, and there might be a found family aspect to it as well, but just mostly what stood out to me was the toxicity of it all. Okay. On Monday, November 17th, we have To My Shore, also Chinese. That one's going to be on Gaga Ulala in Asia. It has not been announced as being anywhere else yet. And it also seems likely to be toxic from what I've read. So, yeah, lots of toxicity coming our way this next week. Are you guys excited about any of that? Just me and T, or does anything else sound interesting to all of you? You're going to try anything else out? For me, I think it'll just be me and T. I mean, there's why do they always have to stuff it in on Friday and Saturday? I kind of get it. Everyone's competing for the top spot, the best weekend spot. But for all of us who are like wanting to watch them all, it makes it a little hard. I guess it doesn't make it hard if you don't plan on like engaging with every episode in social media, and you aren't trying to catch it when it airs so that you can enjoy everybody else's commentary while it airs. If you have your freedom and you can watch it anytime, I would recommend spreading your Friday, Saturday series out to Monday and Tuesday, which have hardly anything in them right now. My Secret of Seer is on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, all we have is The Love Never Sets. They could use a couple more episodes here and there. I complain because I do the BL Week in Review article on Sundays. And so if I'm going to put a review in about an episode, it has to be watched and commented on by Sunday. That kind of throws me for a loop a little bit sometimes. I wish I could spread them out further. I would probably put shows on Monday and Tuesday if I could. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be really helpful. But anyways, it is what it is, and here we are. Let's see, what are people interested in? Tide of Love, Me and T, hoping for other series on other days. Yeah, right. If only all of the companies like got together, put their brains together and made an overall schedule just for us. No. No, I kid. I kid. That would be extremely self-centered of me. Anyways, I get it because, like, as individual fandoms, those who only are going to watch the Ponpuan series, it's nice for them that it's on the weekend. And it's the same for each of the individual fandoms. It does make a lot of sense. It's just struggle sometimes. By the way, based on MDL, the director of the A Man Who Defies season 4 was also the director and screenwriter for the novelist Mood Indigo Given and The End of the World with You. Oh my. Well, that's quite the lineup, Chas. Actually, yeah, that's really strong positive lineup there for that director. I wonder what that final segment is going to be like then. Oh, of those, I know of them all, but I haven't seen any of them. Okay, I admit it. I haven't seen any of them, but from what I understand, they're all pretty toxic, right? You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that whole list that Chas just gave is just a little toxic. This isn't a BL, but Zombiver was engaging with many of the actors we see on BL shows. Fair, Valerie. Yes, it was. Zombiver, if you guys are tuning in and have no idea, is a series on Netflix. That is correct. It is on Netflix. It is a zombie thriller. And it has all of our favorite actors from Mandy / Domundi, plus some outsiders who we know and love from the Thai BL industry. It is not a BL. True. But if you love all those actors and are okay with horror, because from what I understand, it's a very strong zombie thriller element, then you'll probably like that one. I haven't watched it yet, but it is on the list. We'll get around to it eventually, right? Okay. Like also noted, The End of the World with You was definitely a unique watch. Good to know. I might have to get around to that one eventually. Um, loved Zombievor was so good. Hoping it being on Netflix will make the chances for season 2 higher. Yeah, 100%. I've heard that too, that it needs a season 2. I have definitely heard tell. I think that just about covers it all, guys. Shall we go on to the spoiler section of the day? Okay, the big announcement. This is the spoiler section. From now on, anything goes. We're mainly talking about Interminable, but if there are any moments from this week's episodes that you just need to say something about, feel free to include it in the chat. I'm sure other people have the same feeling about whatever it happens to be. But we will be mainly discussing Interminable, or at least I will be out loud. So I have a little question set as usual. My first question for everybody, because I thought that this was I kept wondering. Like I'm almost sure but not positive. And that is, who do you think the ghosts are in this series? Guys, can you believe we're having to question who the ghosts are in this series? I have questions. I have questions, and mainly about San. Actually, I think it's San. Yeah, San. The paw, the young man who was still addressed as father. Yeah, that man. I think he's a ghost. My humble opinion. He he comes across as like, at first it's like, well, I thought he was a ghost, and then but somebody else on X was like, well, maybe it's like century of love, and he's just been frozen in time, and he's just really old, which is also a possibility. So those are the two possibilities for that one, I guess. But I'm leaning towards like a ghost that's visible. I don't know how he was able to walk off the property, although they did say that let's see, Yai, yeah, Yai, that's the one played by Billy. That ghost was stuck for some reason, like he made a promise, so he was stuck on the property and also invisible because of said promise, whatever that promise happened to be. So like they tried to explain why he couldn't be seen, and then that also explained why others could be seen. I do think that the son, I don't remember his name right now. Is it Khan? Is that the son? Anyway, the son, I think he is a person and not a ghost. And I think that it's just the reason I think that San is a ghost is because like the son talks to him as if he's a father in a literal sense, not in like a respectful sense, but a very literal father sense. And he's like, I remember, don't call me that in front of others, right? So I'm like, but he doesn't look like someone who's of an age. They look like they're the same age. In fact, the son maybe even looks older than the father, which that was what made me question that. And then obviously the grandmother was a ghost, or the house servant was a ghost because they addressed her as such. So that one was obvious. Okay, I've gone on and on about that. But who who thought Century of Love when they saw that bit? I need to know. Let's see. I adored Interminable. Yep. Absolutely, Chaz. It is hard to tell. We know Kiao sees ghosts, but not his mom. But his mom saw him, so I think maybe the father. was reincarnated, maybe the father and the son. That's an interesting idea, reincarnated father. But why would he call him father if he was reincarnated? The father was interacting three-dimensionally, true, but when they sat around the table, he and the housekeeper seemed like ghosts. So is the son is not a ghost then? Okay, that is what I thought, Chaz. I thought the son was not a ghost. Okay, so in Century of Love, for those who haven't seen it, and this is not really a spoiler because yeah, I don't think this is a spoiler because it's in the preview. Basically, the main character gets frozen in time, so he remains the same age for a really long time. That's part of the story. And so they had this idea that maybe this father was frozen in time, and so he appears young, but he's really a lot older. Maybe from the same promise. It's possible. Like this promise caused this servant to be frozen and remain the same age, and it caused the ghost of Billy to be not be able to be seen and be stuck at the house, and it caused the housekeeper to remain as well, and then the son is aging normally. I don't know. I don't know, guys. Right. So that's part of what made episode 1 interesting at the end of the day was playing this guessing game. Hey. All right. That was just question number 1. Okay, next. Um, so if Cow has been reincarnated and so has the cousin, maybe the servant was reincarnated as well and the son sees him as his father. Maybe. That would be interesting. So like he knows somehow. It is humorous that the father is played by a 28-year-old and the son is played by a 41-year-old. Exactly, right? There is definitely something there, and the theories are great. Okay, so would you have taken this house, the White House, I think it was at face value? Would you have taken the White House at face value and believed everything and just gone with it, or would you have been like, "Oh, let me go grab my lawyer. Let's check this out. I'm not sure I believe you. Wait, I have relatives. What? What would you have done?" I'm curious. Yes, he knows somehow. I think my daughter is my grandmother sometimes. Okay, that's possible. So we have some theories going on here. Very cool. All right. So would you have taken the house at face value? Actually, might not have. I know he was in like kind of a dire position. They were being kicked out, this, that, and the other. Um, but if something appeared out of the blue that way, I would probably still question it. Even so, I would have a hard time, I think, taking that and accepting it at face value. Right, Valerie, I would have looked for a lawyer first. I don't know. It to me, if that had come my way, I'd have been like, this feels a little fishy. But what does that tell you about our main characters' personalities at the end of the day, both mother and son? That they're willing to take that at face value and not question it. It could show that they're just extremely desperate, like desperate times call for desperate measures. Like maybe their situation is even more dire than how it was. Not to say that it wasn't dire; it was portrayed as dire anyways in a lot of ways, but maybe it was even worse than what we saw. That's possible. Um, they are gullible. Would we call them gullible as characters perhaps? And if they are gullible, how is that going to play out later? Uh that'll be interesting to see how it plays out, right? But at the end of the day, even as we stand, Cal does seem to be having the dreams and visions, and the house is a part of it. So he was also very much like, wait, this is real kind of thing. That's possible too. Um, but that's when he got there. That doesn't explain what happens when he accepts them like at face value at his previous residence, right? At the end of the day. Oh, okay. I've gone and on and on and on about that. Is somewhere inside himself. He remembers him. Thanks for always sharing extra information. Gullible or perhaps just overly trusting. Yeah, Chas possibly overly trusting. That could be I wonder how that trait would play out later. If that is because it's such a key moment, right? It's how they started the series. And it wasn't just like giving the house deed away; it was how it was done as well. It's going to tell us something about who the people are at the end of the day, right? And that's what they chose to highlight about who these people are. All right, let's see what else there is. Okay, my final question for everybody. Were there any parts that surprised you at the end of the day? Any particular surprises that you weren't expecting for episode 1? Um, for me, I feel like they got through quite a bit of the preview in episode 1. So much so that I'm like, what story is this going to be? It feels like it's been at least most of the way told already. I don't know. Like, that's how. Yeah. By the time we ended the episode, I was like, if this were a movie, like another 30 minutes to an hour, it could be a complete story. So now I'm like, what? Where are they going to go with this? Because obviously, there's a lot of episodes left, and so we're going to be going in very different directions probably, and the preview only really just teased the very beginning of the show, and now we're going to have to like go on this journey for the rest of it. Like, what is it going to be? So I think that was probably the most surprising thing to me, was how much a story was told in episode 1. I do think you have a point. Valerie and Kyoto deep down remembers Yai and this past life. That's true. I found the mother odd. It felt like there was only a weak connection between her and her son. That's fair. Yeah, like maybe a surfacey kind of connection, like the mother was his big sister. That's highlighting an interesting key, maybe to their relationship in general. Like he was the son, but also obviously acting as the head of the house already in a lot of ways. So yeah, that part was interesting for sure. Hmm. Anyway, guys, we're just about out of time for today. And I do have to say that Interminable, all of these questions made for a unique start. And I liked the way they did the flashbacks. I liked the way they changed the color grading for a moment and kind of turned everything fuzzy before flashing back into somebody's vision, memory, dream, whatever. Um, I just noticed, Chas says, I just noticed that the director of Interminable is also the director of The Cursed Love, that is also currently airing. Now that is interesting because The Cursed Love, I also am finding pretty enjoyable. I mean, the budget is a little lower, but the storytelling is pretty fun actually. I mean, they put a zombie in there this last week. I was like, there's a zombie. What is going on right now? So that was pretty entertaining. And like the benders, the fact that they are benders, I also find that interesting. I also like watching um people throw fire. I don't know. It's pretty fun. Women would look to their sons as head of house, though, especially in that country. That good point. Thank you, Valerie, for that piece of information. Um, agreeing with also there. Okay, so in general, it's been a good week, right? Lots of fun things happening. Oh, I was totally engaged by this first episode, and as I noted earlier, I love having Billy and Babe on my screen again. There is that. So a lot of people are actually doing a rewatch of The Sign. I'll make a note of that real quick here. The Sign is now available uncut and uncensored on IGE. That is right. You guys seen it? You know exactly what I mean by that. If you haven't seen it, hopefully I've intrigued you and you'll go check it out. Anyway, The Sign is one of those series that challenged the status quo of the genre in general. I think everybody who watched it at the time it aired was like, this is different than anything I've ever seen before. What? They added CGI? It's not half bad. Wait a second, what? So it had all of these elements that made it like groundbreaking, if you will. And if you haven't seen it yet, The Sign is worth checking out. It also skyrocketed Billy and Babe to stardom, I think, in general. And I think that's actually an awesome note to leave today's episodic live stream. So, everybody, I guess have a good week, and I will see you next time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, here on the BL Express YouTube channel. Have a good night, everybody.